Okay, we are live at the New Jersey Libertarian Convention for the state of New Jersey.
Federal ID number.
We have.
I'm here with Patrick McKnight.
Yes.
Okay. Patrick, just a quick opening remark.
Hey Nick, how you doing?
Good, how you doing?
Great.
So here we are. We're live on one channel here,
Awesome.
Facebook Live.
Awesome.
We're live throughout the room, going viral. It's going to be a great show today.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
All right. Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I'm here with Tim O'Brien. We are live at the Libertarian Convention for the state of New Jersey. Okay, we are live on Facebook here, Tim.
How are you?
Thank you for having me here today. Anything you'd like to say to open up?
We need more of you people here. You need to come down and be part of this movement and try to take back America from the people who are trying to destroy it. The Republicans and the Democrats. That's it.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks. Have a good one.
All right, guys, you're going to be watching the best shot in the room right here, live at the Libertarian Convention in New Brunswick, New Jersey.
Before we get started, I want to do some bookkeeping stuff. All credentialed delegates, meaning they're allowed to vote at the meeting, should be gotten an envelope. And in the envelope, we have ballots, and we have a blue sheet of paper that says credentialed delegate on it, so that you can vote. If you haven't gotten this yet and you think you're a credentialed delegate, be sure to see me so I can get this to you. It should be in the boxes outside if you're pre-registered.
Only if you can vote.
Only if you can vote. Yeah, and in order to vote, you had to have been a member by February 1st. Our bylaw has a protection provision, so people can't join the party at the last minute. It's kind of like a takeover thing. So if you were a member as of February 1st, you can vote. Does anyone need help with credentialing?
If everyone can make their way to their seats, we'll get started. On behalf of the New Jersey Libertarian Party, thank you all for attending today. My name is Patrick McKnight. I am the chair of the New Jersey Libertarian Party. We have a lot of business to take care of and not a lot of time, and we're already starting out a few minutes behind. So I'd like to call this meeting to order. I see that we have a quorum. The first order of business is approving the agenda. Everyone should have a copy of the agenda in their packet. It's also up here on the screen. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda, please?
Motion.
All in favor of approving, can I have a second, please?
Second.
Motion has been seconded. All in favor of approving the agenda, please vote aye by raising your blue card. Again, only members can vote. Okay, thank you. Any opposed? All right, the agenda is approved unanimously. Thank you very much. The next order of business is the Secretary's report. We had our last meeting on February 21st. Would you like to make any remarks, Jim?
The draft of the minutes was sent out to the state board, and we're just asking to have it approved here at the general meeting.
Okay, so everyone should have a copy of those prior minutes. Would someone like to make a motion to approve those minutes? Can I have a second, please? Second. All in favor of approving the minutes, please vote aye by raising your card. Okay, thank you very much. Any opposed, please do so by raising your card. All right, the minutes are approved unanimously. The next order of business is the treasurer's report. And so for that, I will turn it over to Mr. Rich Bowen, who is our new treasurer this year. He's doing an outstanding job. Rich.
Yeah, my name's Rich Bowen. I'm the new treasurer.
Rich.
New Jersey Libertarian Party. Oh, you want me to?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Again, my name is Rich Bowen from Cherry Hill. I am treasurer of the New Jersey Libertarian Party. I'm not going to take up too much of your time today. Just to let everyone know that there is a budget for 2017 in your package. I'm sorry?
It's on the board.
Oh, it is on the board.
This is 2016.
Also, 2016 operating results are also in your packet. Rather than try and spend too much time because the agenda is awfully large today, I would like everyone to just take a look at it. If anyone has any questions, I will be here all day. I'm sitting right here at the first table here and be happy to discuss with anyone any issues, any questions, any comments. Jay?
I have a point, just that our 2017 proposed budget at $10,000 is the highest proposed budget we've ever had.
It is.
Last year, we were really high. We were, was it 9-something, right?
Correct.
But it was a presidential year, so
Correct.
it was especially high for that. I just wonder whether or not our $10,000 proposed budget is overly ambitious, and I suggest we go with it, but we may have to do some extra fundraising if we
Great,
want to recoup
agreed.
that
And here's the reason why. What we decided as a board, or what I recommended to the board, and they were okay with, was that we would budget based on trying to break even, zero-based budgeting. So that knowing what our expenses were going to be this year, the budget basically will act as a vehicle to determine how much we need to break even. Obviously, we want to make more. Obviously, we want to try and have a positive cash flow every year. Last year was a presidential year. Our receipts, contributions, membership dues are always higher in a presidential year. However, because of what we want to do and how we want to carry on and carry on that momentum, we are looking to try and do a little more fundraising, be a little more aggressive. That $10,000 mark is not going to be easy to make, but for budget purposes, that's a goal. It's basically a goal for us at this point. I believe it was 9,800 last year, and that is the highest we ever generated. We would just like to keep the momentum going. Okay. Any other questions at this time? Okay, as I said, I'm here all day. Any questions, any comments, would appreciate them. Come see me. I'd be happy to discuss them with you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Rich. Rich is doing a great job. And just to give some, yes, give Rich a round of applause. So just to give a little bit of context to the budget, my impression is that a lot of state affiliates don't really have any money. And we have the blessing of having money in the bank. It doesn't mean we need to spend it all, but we do have some options in front of us in terms of budgeting. And now, a point of information, this budget is non-binding. So we're going to vote on this budget, but this is a non-binding budget. So the board is free to amend this throughout the year. That's correct. Okay, just so we're clear on that.
Correct.
Okay. So can I have a motion to approve the proposed 2017 budget?
Motion.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, the motion has been seconded. All in favor of approving this budget, please vote yes by raising your card. Okay, thank you. Any opposed, please vote nay by raising your card. All right, that motion is passed unanimously. Thank you very much. Now, things get a little bit more interesting. The next order of business is a proposed bylaws change. Our bylaws can only be changed at a general meeting. This is a general meeting. We have a general meeting in the summer, our summer picnic, and in November. So the way our organization works is I, as chair, I don't really have any more power than you as a member. We are a member-run organization. So our membership is in charge and the board works for you. One of the things that we did a couple years ago, and that's been very successful, is we instituted a student membership policy. And these memberships have been free. And I believe since in the past year, we've gained, I think, over 100 student members, which has been fantastic. We have some concerns. It's been successful. We may want to tweak it a little bit. And so I'm going to turn it over to our vice chair, Mr. Jim Tassone, and he will brief you on the proposed bylaw change.
Thank you, Patrick. Good morning, everyone. There's a bit of an ambiguity in the bylaws as they're currently written, which talks about becoming a member once your dues are paid. And so it could be interpreted in such a way, well, if someone's not paying dues because they have a free student membership, that they're not technically a member. So we wanted to keep the bylaws consistent with what we're doing. And so we worked on a revised change to the bylaws. We worked it through the bylaws committee, got their approval. We published it in the meeting notice for this convention as required by the bylaws. And the bylaws revision is as follows. So, whereas the current practice of the New Jersey Libertarian Party is to provide free memberships to students, whereas this does not conform to the latest version of the bylaws as approved November 12, 2016, resolved that we would modify paragraph 5 of the bylaws to add the following text. So the text that's currently there says, thereafter such a person shall become a member upon payment of dues to the NJLP. We propose to add to that, payment of dues will be waived if the person is a full-time student at the time of joining or renewing. So that is the motion before the convention, and what we would look for is a second and then discussion on whether or not we want to approve this or not. And bylaws changes require 2/3 of the people voting in order to approve a bylaws change. So we'll start with second, and then we will open it up with discussion. And I believe the way things normally work is the first speaker can be a person who would be opposed to the bylaws change. So let's start with first seeing if we have a second for the motion. Okay, we have a second. So who would like to speak to the motion? Jay? Start with Jay.
So, I actually would like to make an amendment to the motion. Currently, the board is free to set our dues. And it's not in our bylaws, the actual amount of our dues. So this kind of says that the board has to have the membership be free for students. I would like to make a motion to change will to be may. That way it gives the board more flexibility that if they realize that free student memberships is not working out partway through the year, we can change it quickly. So that's my motion. It's just going to change will to may.
We have a revised motion, so I believe the proper procedure is to first make a determination as to whether or not we want to consider the
Yeah,
revision.
it's my motion. Does it need a second? I think it needs a second.
Okay. Okay, so Tom has seconded Jay's motion. So let's have any discussion on Jay's modified motion. Okay, let's have a vote on Jay's modified motion, which is that we change will to may, therefore leaving it to the discretion of the board to, as we do with other membership fees and levels, that they are set by the board, not by being embedded in the bylaws. All in favor of Jay's modified motion? All opposed to Jay's motion? Okay. This has achieved a 2/3 vote, so the modified motion will be the change to the bylaws.
Do we have to vote now on the?
Yeah, we need to vote again. We voted on
the
the
bylaws.
Oh.
Yes, but now we need to vote on your motion.
Okay.
This is for just the full-time students, but there's also an exception for people who have ran. There's also an exception for people who have ran for office. I don't know, should that be included?
It's already in our bylaws.
Okay, so that's with the same wording?
I don't know what the wording is, but it is
I
already
just
in
would
our
like to make
bylaws.
sure that if somebody got a free membership because they ran, that they don't somehow lose their voting privilege.
It's already in our bylaws that we can give a membership to people who ran for office. Yes.
Yeah, that's a separate issue.
So we will then do a vote on the original motion, which was.
With the modification.
With the modification. Okay. So the vote now is that the new language to be added to the bylaws is payment of dues may be waived if the person is a full-time student at the time of joining and renewing. Any further discussion on the modified motion? All in favor? All opposed? This has passed by 2/3 and will be added to the bylaws once certified by the secretary.
Yes. And that's not a bylaw change.
Right. All right, thank you, Jim. And by the way, one of our most important committees is our bylaws committee. We don't have to change the bylaws often, but when we do, it's important. So if you want to serve on that, please feel free to find me or another board member today, and we'd be happy to talk about getting you on that committee. The next order of business is a related topic. It is a proposal to change the minimum membership dues to be a member of the party. So our membership dues were established with our party back in the early 70s, and the current minimum is $15. So adjusted for inflation, that's over $60 today. We've never raised our membership dues. And so this is something the board has been considering for several months now. Other states have membership dues ranging from free to I think up to like $60. So it's really a matter of discretion. And of course, unlike other political parties, we really depend on our membership for our funding. We need to do a better job of fundraising outside of membership, but that's where we get most of our operating budget from right now. So the board has been back and forth on this, and even though it doesn't require a bylaws change, it's up to the discretion of the board. We didn't feel comfortable making a decision that would impact all of our members if the members themselves didn't have a say in it. Again, we are a membership-run organization. We're not top-down, bottom-up. So we made the decision to bring this to you, our membership, at this meeting to help make a decision. So the proposal is to change the minimum membership dues from $15 to $20. It's a pretty modest change, but at the same time, we don't want to make this some sort of exclusive club that only rich people can get into. I mean, I don't think this motion would do that, but that's the concern. So would someone like to make the motion to bring this to a vote so that we can then, we'll discuss it. So would someone like to make a motion? Tim, can I have a second for the motion? Second. Okay, the motion has been seconded. Would anyone like to rise in opposition to this motion? Tom?
Yeah, I'd like to say something.
Yeah.
Okay.
The chair recognizes Tom.
I think we don't want to put any barriers to joining the party, so I would prefer to keep as low as possible membership rate and membership fee, and allow any additional, maybe push for voluntary payments in addition to that, rather than forcing the higher membership fee.
Okay. Mr. Kaplan?
Ken Kaplan, point of information. What are the actual costs per member in terms of mailing out the newsletter and other, membership maintenance?
That's an excellent question. So when you become a member, here's what you get. You get a subscription to our newsletter, which Jay can speak to the costs associated with that. And then you also are able to vote here, and you're eligible to be a delegate at our national convention and help elect our national candidates. But in terms of the costs, Jay.
Yeah, I can do this. So we used to send out monthly newsletters, but today with electronic communication, we found there's no longer a need for monthly newsletters. It's a lot of work. So we basically do quarterly newsletters. While the price of postage has gone up, the price of printing has actually dropped considerably. I believe our newsletters only cost about 75 cents an issue. So actually the cost of someone joining a party to us is substantially lower than it used to be. The $15 back then was set based on the cost of printing 12 newsletters. Now that we only print about 4 newsletters a year, they're only about 75 cents each. So even at the $15 level, the cost of membership is still well covered. I guess the other cost would be renewal letters, although the party's never been billed for the cost of renewal letters, but potentially they could be. So that would be another 1 or 2 mailings a year.
Yes, in the back.
Brenda Bell, I've got two minds on this. One is that right now, even though people say the economy is still going up, I know those of us who are in the retail sector, a lot of us have been pushed back from full-time to part-time employment. It is difficult, especially with some of the healthcare and other things. So a rise in cost would possibly make it impossible for me to continue as a member the way finances are going. I'm sure there are other people in the same position. Also, I'm not sure if we would be required by law as an official party to accept all people who register Libertarian on their voter registration. On the other hand, we can ask the cost of membership. Cost of membership is not just the newsletters. It's also doing things like being able to afford this room for this business meeting and things like that. And can we have some numbers to that as well?
So I believe Brenda's asking a question about the costs related to this convention today. Again, Jay is chair. First of all, let's take a minute to thank the convention committee. Jay as chair, Carol Acton for suggesting this location. We have Tim O'Brien. We have Dan Krause doing the audiovisual. So I would like to just take a quick minute and just to say thank you to the convention committee for doing such an outstanding job here today. Jay.
Point of information.
Yes. Point of information, Mr. Tassone.
I just wanted to make a comment about us being a political party, because this is oftentimes a source of confusion for people. The exact definition of a political party, I won't go into it, but the Democrats and Republicans are official parties recognized by the states, therefore their candidates participate in primaries that are run by the states. According to our bylaws, because we have not achieved the threshold in terms of the number of votes gathered in elections, is we are actually incorporated as a membership corporation without capital stock, and we're incorporated for liabilities purpose. So the idea of an obligation to accept all members, which might be a requirement for those who have official party status, is not a requirement on us. So just to clarify that point, it took me a while to figure or understand the fact that we call ourselves a party and we operate as one. But in terms of the statutes that define political parties, we are incorporated in a different way.
That's correct. To be a political party in New Jersey, the Republicans and Democrats have to say you are one. So, no big surprise that they're the only two. Jay, would you like to just give us a quick rundown of the numbers related to the cost of this convention?
That's actually really hard to do because we roll the numbers into all the convention costs. So I mean, a lot of people are registered. Most people here are registered for the convention. So that typically pays for almost all of it. We sometimes lose some money on conventions, and we eat that because of the business meeting. How to quantify that, I don't know. It's probably no more than a few $100s. But Brenda is absolutely correct. There are other expenses we have that even though new members won't increase that cost, there are other expenses we have. Just promotion, advertising, all sorts of other costs that we have that do come out of that dues. But whether or not raising the dues from 15 to 20 will really help cover that because we have a lot of members that join at much higher levels than the $15 level and a lot of donations as well. I wrote an article about it and I said it, I'm not adamantly against a crease. $15 to $20 I don't really think will break the bank for anyone, but it is a trade-off. And I think it's more new members that come in and they see a dues as a barrier to joining. And it is a trade-off between a small amount of money and the loss of a small amount of members I don't know what those numbers are though, so I'm not sure whether or not to recommend for or against it. And I don't even know how I'm really thinking about whether or not we should support it or not.
And in terms of the convention, we usually break even. We usually don't make money on this. We usually spend $2,000 to $4,000 and we break even. We don't make money. Ken?
By asking what the membership costs were, I wasn't trying to speak against it by indicating that, we are already covering the membership costs. I think it's a good idea because we need that extra money for outreach and other party activities, so I am in favor of the increase. It costs $12 to $15 to see a first-run movie. Anybody who has the slightest commitment to political activism shouldn't have a problem between the $15 and $20.
And being a member of this party is way more entertaining than seeing any movies theaters today. Believe me, you couldn't write the script. Yeah.
Just two other factors to consider as you decide how to vote. One, just to be accurate, the $15 was set in 1983, and if you translate that into current 2017 dollars, it's the equivalent of $36.
Thank you.
We're only asking to go from 15 to 20. And the second thing is about 25% of our membership are now free student memberships, so we are supporting a larger base of members without any additional increase in revenues from them.
Right, and thank you for that clarification. And one issue that we always have in this party is people want to know why we're not doing more. Why aren't we doing more outreach? Why aren't we spending more money on candidate support? And, well, this is why, because we can't afford to. So, like Jay, I'm pretty neutral on this, and I think this is really a decision for our membership. This is your party. So, unless there's any other discussion, I would like to move the question and bring this to a vote. Okay. All in favor of approving the change from $15 to $20, please vote by raising your card. Okay. I'm seeing 31 in favor. I may need you to do this again if it's close, so please don't change your vote or else you're going to drive me crazy. All those opposed, please do so. Please vote by raising your card.
That's opposed, right?
This is opposed.
You only need a majority.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much. So I count 31 in favor. I count 7 opposed. So this motion has been passed. Thank you very much.
When will this begin?
I would think it would begin.
Actually, can we make it slightly delayed? That way we can push for memberships before the increase.
Sure. That's a great idea.
Second.
Would that require another motion, though?
Well, yeah. That's a good. I think according to the motion, it would go in effect immediately because we've left the question to the membership and not to the discretion of the board.
I guess technically it goes into effect at.
But who's to say that it might take us a few days to get the website up and running? That's a technical thing we can't overcome. Brenda.
Would it be in order to propose a different start date for that?
Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
take into account, okay. So then I would say, would April 1 say be a reasonable start date for that increase?
I think so.
Okay, then may I move that we delay that start of the changed membership fee to April 1, 2017.
Okay, very good. Do we have a second? Okay. Would anyone like to rise in opposition to this motion?
I believe it's already in the motion. That's April 1st.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I think it's changed on the screen.
Well, actually, that's not the motion. The motion is what he said. This is just a notice that we're going to be making a motion. So,
Right.
I think it's still.
We need to make it official. Yes, thank you very much. Okay, so we have a second. All in favor, please vote aye by raising your card. And this is, again, to make it go. All right, thank you. Any opposed? Please vote now. Okay, this is passed unanimously. Thank you very much, Brenda. So the next order of business is our VPs and regional chair reports. So I sent out a request to the VPs on our board and each of the regional chairs to submit a report about what they've done in the past year, about what we've achieved, and about what we're planning to do next year. I didn't receive any of those reports. As often happens in a volunteer organization, when somebody asks for something, it doesn't always happen. So I would, in the interest of time, since we have some very important business to get to considering who our candidate for governor is going to be, and since we have only a few minutes delegated for that, I would like to table this and move on to the election of NJLP officers. So I will make that motion. The motion has been seconded. Would anyone like to rise in opposition to this motion? Okay, and just keep to table it. Point of information. Okay. All in favor of tabling the regional reports, please vote yes by raising your card. Okay, thank you very much. Any opposed, please vote by raising your card. All right, thank you. That's passed unanimously. And again, we're going to have time for you to get with your region, so you'll be able to get up to speed on your local issues during that time. The next order of business is the election of NJLP officers. So you should have in your packet something on which a blue piece of paper that has the name of each position that we're going to vote on. So I suppose I will begin by trying to give a brief summary of what each person does. The first position is the chair. And sometimes it seems to me as if the chair does an awful lot. The chair technically is not a trustee of the NJLP, if that's important to you. The chair really is in charge of creating the agenda, suggesting the scheduled meeting dates, and presiding over the meetings. The chair doesn't really have that much power. The chair doesn't have the discretion to spend unlimited amounts of money. I try to not spend over $100 a month in discretionary funding to get you the sort of materials that we have at our table. So, but the chair, it's a big commitment, and serving on the board is a big commitment, mostly because we have meetings once a month, more or less. We have about 10 or 11 a year, so more or less monthly. They're usually in Central Jersey. So a requirement of being on the board is that you're able to attend these meetings, and it adds up to a big investment of time. You know, I've been on the board for, I think, going on 5 years now. Once a month for 5 years, that adds up to a lot of time. So if people want to run, that's great. I mean, we really need people to step up and be leaders in this party. But just be aware that we need you to actually be present. We don't want people to sign up and then not come to the meetings and not fulfill their responsibilities. Because what happens is, when people don't fulfill their responsibilities, that filters up, usually to me, Jay, and Jim, and then we end up doing other people's jobs. Myself, I'm not doing that this year. I don't have the time or the resources to do that. So we really need people to step up and be leaders so that we can be an effective statewide organization. So, the first election of officers is chair. Would someone like to make any nominations for chair? I think it needs to be
Verbal?
Verbal.
I nominate Patrick McKnight for chair.
Second that.
Against my better judgment, I accept your nomination. Any other nominations? Please don't be shy. Okay, I see, unfortunately, no other nominations. So, I believe... Oh, great. Dan, yes, please.
I'd like to nominate Jim Tassone.
Mr. Tassone, do you accept?
I respectfully decline.
Yeah. Okay. Any other nominations for chair? Hearing none, we can bring this to a more or less symbolic vote, I suppose. So, of course, let me clarify,
In the Libertarian Party, none of the above is always an option. And let me just remind you of that. You can always vote for none of the above.
You're stuck with it.
Yeah, so, Jay,
I
yes.
believe we need a motion to suspend the rules and allow for a voice vote. I
Okay.
think that's
You're-
required.
You want to do, so are you making that motion?
I'm making that motion.
Jay makes a motion to suspend the rules and do a voice vote so we don't go the formality of writing out the ballots.
Second.
Okay, that has been seconded. So, all in favor? Okay. All in favor of Patrick McKnight being the chair for another year?
You have to vote to suspend the rules.
Yes, okay, thank you very much. Thank
Needs to be
you.
voted on first.
Yes, thank you very much. So, all in favor of suspending the rules to do a voice vote for the election of chair, please vote yes by raising your card now. All right, thank you very much. Any opposed, please vote nay by raising your card now. Okay, so that motion has been passed unanimously. Now we're going to move on to a voice vote for the election of chair for the next 12 months. The only nominee is me, unfortunately. All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say nay.
Cricket.
I was really hoping for a lot more from the nays. But okay,
No,
so
we were also looking for none of the above. was the
yeah,
other-
okay. Now, anyone in favor of none of the above, please vote aye. Aye. Okay. Any opposed, please vote nay. Okay, so McKnight has a lot of votes, and none of the above only has one.
No, chair can only vote in five.
That's right. So that none of the above didn't even get one. That's rough. Okay. Well, thank you very much. I mean, it is. It is, all joking aside, it is a privilege and an honor to lead this organization, especially at such a historic time for our party. But I really do encourage you to become a leader in this organization. If we all depend on our leadership, believe me, we're not going to get that far. We need everyone to be a leader. So, but thank you, I guess. So, moving on to the election of vice chair. So, vice chair is a voting member of the board. The vice chair fills in for the chair if he can't make a meeting and presides over the meeting, which has happened a few times. It's a very important job. I'm gonna remain neutral and say nothing more than that. So, are there any? And just for information, Jim Tassone is our current vice chair. Any nominations for 2017 vice chair of the NJLP, Mr. Warman?
I nominate Jim Tazzone.
Second.
Mr. Tassone, do you accept?
It's not required for nominations.
Okay. Jim accepts. Any other nominations for vice chair? Dan?
I nominate Pete Rome.
I decline.
Wise man.
Just a quick question.
Yes, question.
Did anybody fill out the online thing for submitting for these?
I did.
I did.
Like, so for this particular chair, people submitted online, like a little questionnaire? Is that listed anywhere in here? Like, who submitted what?
You know what? I can put it online if you want to look at it, but there's a lot of them.
Disqualify you, right?
No. So we send out a questionnaire. We traditionally send out a questionnaire to all our candidates. And this year we also sent out a questionnaire to anyone interested in running for officer.
Right.
And I believe the only officer submissions we got were from people already on the board, myself, Jim, and Rich. I'm not aware of anyone else submitting any. And the point of these is just to give you some information about who you're voting for. Jeff, you did?
I submitted. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Which position?
VP Marketing.
Okay. So the idea is just to give you some information about who you're voting for. Luckily, we still have time, as I'm trying to get through this as fast as possible, that people can speak on their own behalf if they choose to, if there's a competitive race here. Okay, so right now the order of business is nominations for vice chair. Any other nominations? Okay, I see
Who was nominated?
Jim Tassone of Bergen County.
Stand up.
Will the real Jim Tassone please stand up? Okay, last call for nominations. I hear none. So I would like to...
Move to suspend the rules, have a voice vote.
Okay. Second, okay. So there's been a motion to suspend the rules and go to a voice vote. All in favor of this motion, please vote yes by raising your card. All right, thank you. Any opposed, please raise your card. The motion is passed unanimously. We'll now proceed to the vote. So this is a voice vote. All in favor of Jim Tassone as Vice Chair for 2017, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say nay. Any in favor of none of the above, please say aye. Okay, thank you very much. So, Jim, you're on the hook for another year. So, just as an aside, I really depend on Jim a lot. Jim has a wealth of experience, and I always value his insight, and I really appreciate the fact that he's always there for me to bounce ideas off of. Some of my ideas are better than others, and he usually sets me straight. So, Jim, thank you for your service in the party. The next position that we need to elect is the secretary. The secretary is actually very important. The secretary keeps all the notes and the minutes from every meeting. So as you've already gathered today, the exact wording of those notes and those minutes and those motions is very, very important. So this is an important job. Our previous secretary, Mr. Brian Pizza, has moved out of the country, so he's no longer available to serve in this capacity. So for the past couple months, we really haven't had anyone formally serving in this role. This is a voting member of the board, so you get to vote on all the motions just like everyone else. Don't think that secretary is some sort of secondary role. It's not. It's a very, very important leadership role in this party, and it's a role that we definitely need filled in 2017. It's a great opportunity for anyone who would like to get more involved in the party and assume a leadership role. This is a great opportunity. So you see up here on the board, the job description. The secretary shall maintain, record, and report minutes of all meetings, including the state convention, carry out other duties as directed by the state chair, and assume the duties of the chair if that person and the vice chair are both unavailable. So in the all-important libertarian line of succession, you're third. Minutes of all meetings shall be posted as soon as possible on the website. Any questions about this position and what it entails, or any comments?
Just point of information.
Point of information, Mr. Tassone.
So as Patrick mentioned, we have had a vacancy the last few months. In order to keep things going, the board, I volunteered and the board approved me as interim secretary through the end of today's convention. And the reason that's important was I've been doing the minutes of the board meetings the last couple of months. But most importantly, I need to both do the minutes of the convention and also certify the results of the election. So we wanted to make sure we did not have a gap in that as we went through the convention process. But I certainly look forward to someone else taking the responsibility of secretary for 2017.
Thank you. So unless there's any other points of information, I would like to open up the floor for nominations for secretary.
I nominate Hunter Runich.
Hunter, do you accept?
I accept.
Okay. I have Hunter. Other nominations?
Nominate Kevin Lowry.
Kevin, do you accept?
I accept.
Other nominations for secretary? Last call for nominations for secretary. Okay, very good. Now, since we have time, I would like to recognize each candidate if they would like to make a brief statement. I would like to recognize them for 60 seconds each. Do we need a vote on this?
No.
We don't need to vote on this. So since Hunter, you were nominated first, would you like to make a 60-second statement in support of your candidacy?
Absolutely. Should I approach the podium?
Yeah, you can approach the podium.
Hello everyone, my name is Hunter Romak. I'm currently the Vice President of Marketing for the NJLP. I've been a member for going on 4 years now. I'm incredibly devoted to the party. Under VP of Marketing, we were able to secure several events organized and arranged. We were able to also supply several new marketing materials, especially those that accentuate our point on the Second Amendment. At these events, we were able to point out to voters what candidates are running for 2016 in our state and the locations where they will be running. I am able to attend pretty much all meetings, so I'm incredibly available, and I am definitely ready and willing to follow any kind of structure that is provided to me, and I'm incredibly devoted and a seeker vote. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Hunter. Kevin, would you like to address the convention?
Good morning, everybody. I'm Kevin Lowry. I'm from Cranberry, New Jersey. I got involved in the party last year, started voluntarily showing up to our monthly meetings. Represented the Libertarian Party at the school choice event in January. And in Cranberry, I volunteer as the subcommittee chair for the Municipal Alliance Against Drug Abuse and Alcoholism, a rec commissioner for the rec board, and a volunteer firefighter. For 15 years, I've been working within municipal government and federal government, so I just really enjoy serving my community and looking at this as an opportunity to give back a little more to the party here, and something I really believe in. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much to both of our candidates. So now we will move on to the vote. Since this is a competitive race, we will use the ballot. You should have a blue ballot that says secretary on it. Point of information, Michelle?
Are we supposed to add none of the above to the
Yes. Always a strong contender. None of the above. So, please, the names are up here on the screen. Please, on your secretary ballot, please cast your vote for either Hunter Romak, Kevin Lowry, or none of the above. And we will be around to collect your ballot. I think what we usually do is when you're done voting, you can raise it in the air, and someone will be around to collect it. And then we will tabulate it. Thank you.
And I'll count. Yeah.
So while we're voting, I just want to say again, thank you to everyone for coming out today. This is already the best attended convention in the history of our party. So thank you very much. As I hope you all already know, and which I will be mentioning again throughout the day, this has been the most successful year in the history of our party. In the past 12 months, we doubled both our paid membership and our registered voters. So from the first 40 years of the party to last year, we doubled our growth in 40 years in 1 year. So that's fantastic. So thank you very much for being a part of this movement. All right. Any other ballots out there that weren't collected?
Last call.
Okay, last call for ballots.
And Hunter and Kevin, if you'd like to assign somebody to come watch me count, you're more than welcome to do that.
Might be some hanging chads.
And I repeat, if you came late and you believe that you should be a credentialed delegate, just see me and I'll look into whether or not you're a credentialed delegate.
Okay, so while those votes are counted, we're going to move on to the next position, which is treasurer. We've already heard from our current treasurer. This is also a critical leadership position in our party. You are in charge of the checkbook. The lucrative NJ Libertarian Party checkbook is in your possession. I don't write checks. I don't write any checks. I have no power over that. It's all the treasurer. The treasurer shall maintain and make available proper financial records and report them to all meetings and prepare and submit any government or other financial or tax reports as required. The treasurer shall prepare the NJLP annual budget to be presented at our annual convention. Any questions, points of information about the role of the treasurer? Okay, hearing none, I would like to open the floor up for nominations for treasurer. Okay, hear any nominations?
I would like to nominate Rich Bowen.
Okay, Mr. Bowen, do you accept?
Thank you, yes, I accept.
Mr. Bowen accepts. Any other nominations for treasurer? Last call for nominations. Okay, hearing none. Mr. Bowen is the only named candidate in addition to none of the above. So I would like to move to bring us to a voice vote.
Can we do a general suspension of the rules for any unopposed office?
I don't see why not.
Sure, a second.
Well, just in case, so we can avoid that extra.
There's no opposition.
Okay. So, is there a second for that?
Yes.
Okay,
You
so,
can't make a motion.
right?
You can't make a
No, I'm not, I don't make motions.
Makes waves, but no.
Yeah, well, yeah. So the motion in front of us is would you like to?
Suspending the vote, the ballot vote for any unopposed offices from here in.
Okay.
Voice vote.
Voice vote for unopposed offices.
Offices.
Okay. Anyone like to rise against that motion? Okay. So, all in favor, please raise your blue card. Okay, thank you very much. Any opposed, please raise your blue card. All right, so that has passed unanimously. Thank you, Tim. So we will proceed to a voice vote for treasurer. And again, the options are Rich Bowen or none of the above. All in favor of Rich Bowen, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All in favor of none of the above, please say aye. Okay, Rich, you got it. Congratulations.
Thank you, everyone.
We have results.
Okay, we have results. Who would like to make the announcement?
The results are Hunter had 30 votes, Kevin had 15 votes, and none of the above had 1 vote.
Okay, thank you very much and congratulations. And thank you also to Kevin for your candidacy and your support of the party. You know, I hope to see you at many more board meetings this year. So we're going to move on to the final 3 state officer elections. And these are the VPs of membership marketing programs. We'll begin with the VP of membership. So the VP... Okay, you see it in front of you. I'm not going to read it all. But the VP of membership is overall responsible for attracting new members and retaining current ones. So Jay is currently serving as our VP of membership, as well as wearing about 20 other hats for the party. This is his official one. Any questions about what the VP of membership does? Any points of information that we can answer before we open the floor for nominations? Okay, hearing none, who would like to nominate someone? Jeff.
I'll nominate Tom.
All right, Tom, do you accept?
Can I postpone that until the end, or I have to accept now?
I think you have to accept now.
I would like to see who else is on. Can I wait? Can I postpone?
Okay.
Okay, accept it now.
Well, my suggestion is you accept it and you can rescind it.
Okay, I accept now.
Okay. Any other nominations for VP of membership? Yeah.
Jay Edgar here.
Jay Edgar. Mr. Edgar, do you accept?
I accept, but I would like to state if someone else does want to run against me, I'm willing to work under them, with them supervising me.
There you go.
But at the same time, they're going to find themselves with not much to do. I do state that. But they would be a board member and would represent the work that I do at the bank. So,
Any other nominations for VP membership? Okay, so right now we have two nominations. We have Tom Maskowski and Jay Edgar. He did, and he has not.
You okay with that?
yeah, I'm fine.
He has not rescinded.
I prefer him. I mean,
Do either of our candidates want to rescind their acceptance so that we may proceed?
60. You got 60.
I'm hearing no one rescinding. So I would like to recognize each candidate for 60 seconds if they so choose to address the body. Tom, since would you like to address the body for 60 seconds?
taxation is theft.
All right.
You're all set as always. Jay, would you like to make a statement?
No, that's okay.
Okay. I love it. So we're going to proceed with the vote. You have a blue ballot that says VP of membership on it. And on that ballot, you are going to write one of three things. And for this, I think first names are sufficient.
Yeah.
First option is Tom. Second option is Jay. Third option is none of the above. So please write that on your ballot, raise it in the air. Somebody will be around to collect it, and then we will tabulate the results.
Show that to Jay.
Did you pre-register?
Point of information.
Point of information, Mr. Krause.
Who is the current membership coordinator?
Jay is the current VP of membership.
But do we have a current membership coordinator?
I'm doing both positions.
Thank you.
And while you're voting, I would also like to, I have so many thank yous today, and I know I'm going to forget a lot of them, so you have to forgive me, but one group of people I definitely want to thank are all our 2016 NJLP candidates. You are the face of our party. You are the face of our party. You spread the message of liberty to all your friends and neighbors. And I would like to ask everyone who ran for office in 2016 to please stand up so that you can be recognized. 2016, who ran for office last year. I'm standing, yeah, I'm standing. So last year, our NJLP candidates received a record number of votes. The official number is just under 123,000 votes. So that is a record, and we want to keep breaking. We broke a lot of records last year, and our goal is to keep breaking them this year. So moving on, the next officer we need to elect is the VP of Marketing. Marketing, believe it or not, is an area where the Libertarian Party has some room for improvement. And as a result, we have this position. The VP of Marketing has overall responsibility for promoting the party and its activities to the media and general public. The VP will create an annual strategic plan for marketing for review by the state board. The VP of Marketing will work with the regions to promote its activities within the regions, and will work with other officials listed in the VP marketing section of the bylaws to achieve the party's marketing goals. Any questions or points of information about the role of the VP of marketing? And as we already heard, our outgoing VP was Mr. Hunter Romack. So that means we have a vacancy. So I would like to open up the floor for nominations for VP of Marketing.
I'd like to nominate Jeff Hedrick.
All right.
Jeff, do you accept?
Yes, I accept.
Point of order?
Yes, Mr. Edgar.
before you close nominations, you might want to wait until the results are released in case somebody loses who wants to run for another position.
That's a good point. Okay, so now I'll commence with my stand-up comedy routine to kill some time until the votes are cast. Now, I also want to bring you up to date on some other items of party business. I am, in addition to the chair of the New Jersey Libertarian Party, I'm also the regional representative for Region 8 on the Libertarian National Committee, which means I am a momentous, epic glutton for punishment. Basically, most people aren't aware of the role of the Libertarian National Committee, and for good reason. They don't seem to do too much productive to help our state affiliates. But the way the structure of the National Party works, there are 8 regions. We are in Region 8. Region 8 is New Jersey, New York, and New England. Each region has a representative, of which I am unfortunately one. And then there are also the officers, the trustees of the National Committee. The National Committee meets 3 to 4 times a year. We are not, like most people in the party, we are not compensated. We have to cover our own travel costs. The next meeting is in April, and my job as representative is to be the spokesman for all the affiliates in our region. I've always felt like Region 8 is sort of, in the past, been overlooked. I think a lot of people think that the northeastern United States is not the place to concentrate your energy in terms of spreading the message of liberty and growing the party. I could not disagree more. This is where most of the media is. This is where most of the money is. This is where a disproportionate number of people are. And I think focusing on the Northeast would be a huge boon to our party. And I've been making that case to the National Committee, pretty much unsuccessful. But if you have any issues of national import that you want to be brought up, I am your messenger, your conduit to the National Committee, so you can feel free to see me later. We have the results.
All right, the results for VP of membership, Jay received 31 votes. Tom received 15 votes. We had 1 write-in vote for John Gall.
Okay, congratulations and sympathies to Jay. So we will resume the nomination process of VP of Marketing. So far, Jeff Hetrick has been nominated, and I believe he accepted.
Correct.
Okay. Other nominations for VP of Marketing, Joe.
I nominate Dan Kraus, the guy that set up this stage.
Mr. Kraus, you accept?
I respectfully decline.
I nominate Mike Ruffo.
Mike Ruffo, do you accept?
Respectfully decline.
Ah, you scumbag.
Okay. Any other nominations? Last call for nominations. Hearing none, pursuant to our previous motion, we will proceed to a voice vote. The options are Jeff Hetrick and none of the above. Jeff, I guess you can speak if you like. I can give you 60 seconds if you like.
Nah, you can throw up my little questionnaire survey if you want, but don't worry about it. Just vote for me, everybody.
Okay, so you're going to try to pull that up?
No worries.
Okay. Well, I think we'll just proceed to the vote.
Yeah, it's going to be small to fit it all.
So, all in favor of Jeff Hetrick for VP of Marketing, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Or all in favor of none of the above, please say aye. Okay, congratulations, Jeff. Welcome to the board. We have one final state officer position that we need to fill, and that is VP of Programs. VP of Programs is another voting member of the state board. The VP of Programs, and we'll bring up the official description here, has overall responsibility of developing educational outreach programs designed to educate the public to libertarian ideas and the Libertarian Party. and to develop programs to help us identify, recruit, and support candidates that run for office under the NJLP banner. The VP will create an annual strategic plan for programs for review by the state board. The VP of programs will work with the regions to promote its activities within the regions, and will work with the other officials listed in the VP program section of the bylaws. So, you know, I don't want to make any comments about what I vote for from a candidate, because that's irrelevant. So, any other questions or points of information on the job of the VP of programs? Hisham is our current VP of programs. Would you like to rise?
Please stand up.
Yeah, thank you.
You want to keep it or not?
Okay, so I would like to open the floor for nominations for VP of programs. Would anyone like to make a nomination? Tim?
Hisham.
Hisham, do you accept?
Yes.
Okay, Hisham accepts.
Nominate Kevin Lowry.
Kevin, do you accept? Other nominations for VP of programs? Dan?
I'd like to nominate Claudia Belusic.
Claudio, do you accept?
Sorry, what was this again?
Good answer. No, you've just been nominated for a VP of programs, Claudio. Do you accept?
Can I take Jay on with me and
Jay's already our permanent aide de camp.
I do have a lot on my plate and I do plan on running this year for office. So
Okay.
I respectfully decline. I do appreciate it. Thank you for the nomination.
Okay, thank you, Claudio. So he declines. Hunter?
I nominate Tom.
All right.
Tom, do you accept?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Other nominations for VP of program. A great opportunity to get on the board and become a leader in the party. Okay, last calls for nominations. Okay, so the nominees I have are Hisham, Kevin, and Tom. I would like to recognize each one of those.
And none of the above.
And none of the above, as always.
Does none of the above get to speak?
SK.
He's speaking right now. So I would like to recognize each one of these nominees for 60 seconds if they so choose. Hisham, would you like to address the body?
Anyone can speak on behalf of none of the above.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. So this is the first year, we just concluded the first year that the VP of programs has been made available. There's been a wide, leeway and latitude for coming up with your own programs, own initiatives. So that lack of direction has resulted in, a fair amount of difficulty in coming up with new things, new programs to bring to the table. That being said, I've seen what works, what doesn't, mostly what doesn't. But there's a few things that I have in the works that I'd like to see brought to the table, particularly including long-term fundraising. So if you plan on donating money to the party, or if you'd like to, especially with a long-term goal in mind, whether I win or not, come see me afterwards. Other than that, I've invested a year into the party. I'd kind of like to see another year so that I can bring my vision to the table. That being said, the other candidates are very, very dedicated, and I'm sure they're, just as qualified. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Kevin, would you like to address the body?
Sure, I guess. In addition to my little bio from before, the biggest thing is, I didn't even really know we had this until it came up here just now. But programs is what I've done for most of my career, from running youth camps to overseeing kind of game nights for kids, things like that in my community. That's what I enjoy doing. It helps, I think, move an agenda of an organization forward in an actionable way to say, hey, we don't just have this ideal, but we're actually doing this to achieve it and push it. So programs, I like to engage in those. It's fun. It's what I've been doing, and it's an opportunity for me to do so with the Libertarian Party. I'm kind of going to jump at it. And well, I'm sure that he's been doing a great job for a year. It seems like nice as he has a strategic plan too for the future. So, you know, if he is picked, good. But it's just something I'm passionate about. So, hence I decided to name out there. So, thank you, everybody.
Okay, thank you very much. And Tom, would you like to address the body? Tom yields his time. So we have 4 nominees for VP of Programs. We have Hashem, Kevin, Tom, and none of the above. You should have a blue ballot with VP of Programs on it. Please write your selection on that ballot, raise it in the air, and someone will be around to collect it from you. And while you're voting, I would like to recognize one of our candidates from last year. This candidate received over 23% of the vote for Ocean Township Committee, and that is Mr. Michael Roche. So I want to say thank you to Michael. Mike was our most successful candidate by percentage in the party last year, so I wanted to take the time to say thank you to him. And I also want to let you know that our presidential candidate, Gary Johnson, received over 72,000 votes in New Jersey last year, which is another record for the Libertarian Party in this state. I want to thank everyone who participated in that record-breaking campaign. So, as we tabulate, last call for ballots. Is there anyone out there with a ballot that we have not collected? I want to make sure everyone counts. Okay, so as a procedural issue, I don't want to move to the next order of business and open the floor for nominations until all the votes are cast, because theoretically someone could want to run for one or both of these offices. But the next order of business is probably the most important today, and that is the nominations of governor and any statewide candidates that cross regional boundaries. So, besides governor, the way it works is we have 3 regions: north, central, and south, and the regions will be nominating their candidates. And after this, we're going to have breakout sessions in each region will nominate its local candidates. The purpose of this is to not only select our governor, I'm sure that's what we're all here for today, but also select any candidates whose districts cross the boundaries of our regions. And I'm not aware that we have any of those here today. So I think, Dan?
If I'm not mistaken, the 12th legislative district is both in Central Jersey and South Jersey.
Okay. I'll make a note of that. Okay. Joe?
Jay, I thought we had one candidate that's non-resolution across regional.
I'm sorry, I was not paying any attention at all. Yes, you're probably right. Yes, there was, yeah. I'm not sure who that was, though. Anthony Starr, you're right.
So, as we're waiting the final votes here, part of what we're trying to do is give more power at the local level. We don't want the state board to be micromanaging everything in this party. We want the regions to be more or less autonomous in your selection of your candidates. Along with that, we need the regional chairs, who you will also be selecting in your breakout sessions, to really step up to the plate and accept some responsibility. That is absolutely necessary. I mean, being a regional chair, if I were new to this party, I would probably want to be a regional chair, because you have a lot of free reign in terms of how you want to run your region, and you don't have to go to state board meetings. So that is like, you're 2 for 2. Okay? But along with that, you have a lot of responsibility to really take charge of your candidates, of the membership in your region, and to establish a relationship with the members and the candidates in your region. So, okay, great, thank you, Jay. So, in addition to the elected positions in the party, there are also unelected positions that are very important and we would like to fill here today. Some of these are newsletter editor, so we all look forward to receiving the newsletter. Right now, that's something Jay does pretty much by himself, and that's not really fair to Jay. Jay already does way too much for this party. So we would love to have someone step up to the plate and be the newsletter editor. It's really not that much work if that's your only responsibility in the party. Another position we'd like to fill is social media chair. So right now, in terms of our social media presence, pretty much most of the content comes from me and Jim. And, you know, we enjoy doing that, but as chair and vice chair, that really shouldn't be our responsibility. We should be worried about other things, and we should have somebody whose sole responsibility is social media. I mentioned the bylaws committee. The bylaws committee is very important. They make recommendations to general meetings in terms of bylaws changes. And it's important that that committee is at least functional. They're not always busy, but they need to be functional so that if we need to do something, they're responsive to emails, they're able to go to a meeting, and they're able to take care of the business that we need to attend to, because what's happening with our party now is we're growing. And our bylaws were designed originally at a time where we were not growing. So we're facing some new challenges, some new opportunities, and to be able to accommodate those, sometimes we need to consider bylaws changes. So that's very important. And finally, we have a platform committee, and the platform committee creates the official positions of the party on issues. I know we as libertarians all love to debate the issues. It's one thing we're good at, so if you're interested in that, please see myself or another board member if you'd like to get involved in, again, newsletter editor or helping with the newsletter, helping with social media, participating in bylaws, or the platform committees. And I believe the votes have been counted for VP of programs.
We have. It looks like we're going to need a second ballot.
Oh boy.
We do not have a majority of the votes cast. We have a plurality. And there are rules around that, which I'll go over. Let me give you the results first. Kevin received 23 votes. Desham received 22 votes. Tom received 3 votes. 1, none of the above. 1 for Rand Paul, and 1 for all of the above. Because there were 51 votes, a majority is 26 votes. So the rule is anyone under 5% and the lowest nominated candidate are taken off the second ballot. So for the second ballot, the competition will be between Hisham and Kevin. You have in your packet another ballot called Unspecified A. We're going to use that ballot to revote for the second ballot.
Okay, thank you very much, Rich. So please go ahead and do that now. The options are Hisham and Kevin. Dan.
Question. If someone abstained on the first vote, can they use the original ballot to cast the second vote?
I think that may be a little confusing to people.
No, I would prefer that we use unspecified A.
Yeah. Yes, please make sure to use the unspecified A ballot. So please vote now. Again, when you're finished, you can raise it above your head and someone will come and select it. And as a point of information, we've adopted the national procedural rules for these competitive votes. So this is where we get the procedure of eliminating the lowest candidate and anyone under 5%. so that we may achieve a majority. That's how National conducts its nominations, and so that's what we've adopted. I can tell you this is much, much more competitive than any year since I've been a member of the party. And that's sort of what I mean is, as we grow, we have these new problems that we haven't had to deal with before, and they're all good problems. Believe me, these are the problems we want to have. But it gives a lot of opportunity for people to get involved in leadership positions within the party. So, last call for ballots, VP of Programs.
Drag it out.
Okay.
Have a last call?
Last call. All right, great, thank you. And thank you again to our excellent candidates. So, at this time, I would like to move on to the next order of business, which is the nomination of candidates for governor. This is a very big race this year. We have more eyes on this party than ever before. Never before, in my memory, have we had people asking us in advance who our candidates were. I mean, that's... I mean, that may sound silly, but I think it's indicative of the fact that people are looking to our party for leadership in a way that they never have before. We are one of only 2 states in the country having statewide elections. The other is Virginia. So there's going to be a lot of attention on the New Jersey governor's race this year. And we want to make sure that we have our best possible candidate. It's a very big race. Running for governor is a big commitment. Anyone who's run for office, even at the local level, knows what a huge commitment it is, of time, of energy. And I think that the results of this election will be a bellwether for a lot of people and how they perceive this party. Is this party legitimate? Are we the third major party? Are we just a flash in the pan? And I think that people in New Jersey especially are so desperate for an alternative. I mean, we have some of the highest taxes, the worst business climate. We all know this. And people are looking to us for leadership. They're frustrated with what they have, but they want something better. And those people aren't going to come to us. We have to go to them. It's our responsibility to put forth great candidates who are going to spread the message of liberty. So with that being said, I would like to open the floor for nominations for governor of New Jersey.
Can you suspend that for a second and we'll...
You guys almost done?
Yeah.
Okay, so the voting is almost counted.
Okay.
We're going to have a result here.
All right, the results of the second ballot, Kevin received 29 votes, Kisham received 25 votes. So Kevin, you are elected.
Congratulations, Kevin, and thank you, Hisham, for your service. Point of order, Jim.
Since 10:35 is when we said we'd start this, it would be like a 5-minute break.
So, Mr. Tassone is asking whether the group would like a 5-minute break. I will only say that we have 15 minutes scheduled to nominate our gubernatorial candidates. I know we have a number of candidates. We only have 4 minutes each scheduled for each candidate. So whatever the feeling of the body is, that's fine, but we don't have a heck of a lot of time to deal with this very important business. So
trudge through.
So can I just get a sense of the body? Can you raise your hand if you would like to take a break? All right, that's what I like to see. Power forward. So, that being said, I would like to open the floor for nominations. And the way, just to clarify, the way this works is anyone can nominate a member of the party. The nomination does not need to be seconded. As with our other races, the nominee just needs to accept. Okay, so would anyone like to, yes?
It is my honor to nominate Peter Roman for governor.
Thank you. All right, Peter Rorman has been nominated. Other nominations?
I nominate Ryan Manville for governor.
Ryan, you accept. Okay, thank you, Ryan. Okay, other nominations for governor? I know we have other candidates here. Yeah.
I'm trying, but you don't have to nominate me if you don't want.
Why would you take?
Everybody, I'm new.
Can you identify yourself for everyone?
Yes, Jason McKenna.
You can nominate yourself. You can nominate yourself.
I'm James Marcatilio. I'd like to nominate myself for governor.
Yes.
I'd like to nominate Chris Laguerre.
All right, Chris, you accept. Please accept. Thank you. Dan.
I'd like to nominate Patrick McKnight.
Patrick McKnight does not accept.
Like you need more to
Nice
do.
try. Other nominations for governor. Currently we have Peter, Ryan, Jason, James, and Carice. Last call for nominations. And then we will proceed to Sydney.
And if I got any spellings wrong, let me know.
Okay, so we're going to proceed in the order of the nominations. We have allocated 4 minutes for a candidate statement. If the candidate wishes, they can also include question and answer in that 4 minutes. But each candidate gets 4 minutes. So with that, I would like to bring up Peter Rorman to make his statement.
Good morning, everyone. Most of you know me already. For those of you who don't, allow me to refer you to some of my previous campaigns so you can get a feel for who I am. In 2015, I ran for Bergen County Freeholder. The focal point of that campaign was going head-to-head against a corrupt and powerful Bergen County prosecutor. I did not win that election, but the victory I took from that, I took that man's job. He is no longer a prosecutor in Bergen County. Last year, I used the debate stage to put forth an agenda suggesting over $200 million of cuts from the county budget. I am a libertarian. I am anti-corruption, and I am for small government. You know my record. I'm running for governor here today. My campaign is based on 2 points: victimless crime and taxes. If I'm elected governor, I will no longer tolerate the incarceration of our people for victimless crime. Therefore, if I am elected on Inauguration Day, I'll be issuing mass pardons, proactively and retroactively, for everyone in this state for cannabis-related crimes, for anything Second Amendment related. All my friends, in the Second Amendment community, you can count on me. No longer will we ever have to hear the stories, the horror stories of people like Brian Aiken or Shaneen Allen, or God rest their soul, Carol Bone. My tax plan is revolutionary. It took me 18 months to develop it. It is called compulsory volunteerism. This tax plan will do away with all of your current tax forms. No more property taxes, no more sales tax, no more gas taxes. In fact, you won't even have to pay for vehicle registrations. The way this program works, it's still a tax, still an income tax, but you'll be given the option of where you can place your funds. If you like your school board, you can place your part of your compulsory payment into your school board. If you like your library, put it there. This creates competition for your tax dollars. As we know, in the real world, competition makes a better product. Right now, government does not have any competition. This creates competition for your tax dollar. It'll create a smaller, more efficient government. If you have any questions about this, please read the handout or grab me later on. Now, my competitor, Ryan Manville, his tax plan is called zero annual property tax. And if he had it his way, what he's proposing is, instead of paying your property taxes annually, you'd be paying them up front I don't know, he didn't specify how many years, probably 8 to 10 years or so up front. Now, those property taxes, that's going to be anywhere between $80,000 to $100,000. Many people won't be able to afford that. That's going to have to get rolled into a mortgage. You're still going to be paying your taxes, but in addition to paying your taxes, you're going to have to pay interest on that over 30 years. I don't see this as a very libertarian plan. And on the other side of it, too, I see it as creating a tremendous housing crisis on the supply side. You've seen the differences between our plans. I'm proposing no more property tax. He's proposing maintaining with the added feature of paying interest on it. This past week at the debates, a point came up about the National Guard. And I said I would zero it out if I could because I'm against the government's monopoly of force. Ryan took the other stance. He's in favor of keeping the National Guard around. I don't want to run because it could be used against you. Ryan's advocacy for maintaining the government's monopoly of force isn't libertarian at all. It's close to statism. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Keith. Keith's time has expired. We'll now move on to Ryan Manville. Ryan, you have 4 minutes to address the body. If they leave time. If the candidate leaves time, there can be questions and answers.
Thanks, Patrick. I'd like to stand on my own qualifications. Fellow libertarians, imagine a world of liberty. A world where the nation's eyes will be upon New Jersey in 2017 as the only state that will likely run a libertarian candidate for governor. Envision a world where the right candidate could capture the governorship and dramatically shift New Jersey towards its original intent of liberty and prosperity. Picture a world where the libertarian candidate garners at least a double-digit general electorate vote with a puncher's chance of an upset. My name is Ryan Manville, and I am the candidate for the Libertarian Party and for the New Jersey governor in 2017. My very background, unique qualities, and full-time focus on the right issues will usher in the start of a new era in New Jersey politics. The New Jersey Libertarian Party is in a position of positive momentum after the 2016 general election, and we must capture it. My candidacy will be known for out-of-the-box thinking, high energy, and will capitalize on our party's forward movement. For the past 15 years, I've lived in Union County with my wife and 2 children. After being raised in Westfield, I went to Tufts University on a Navy scholarship where I received an electrical engineering degree. I proudly served in the U.S. Submarine Force for 7 years while simultaneously obtaining my MBA from Northwestern University. Coming out of the military, I was a consultant for the New Jersey office of McKinsey & Company, and I served executives and corporations which served as models towards my approach in addressing tough problems. For the past 13 years, I've worked in a variety of financial services leadership roles at American Express, First Bank Chief Operating Officer, which is a billion-dollar bank out of Hamilton, New Jersey, and most recently Capital One. Serving others for a higher purpose was my calling as a naval officer. I look to proudly serve as a libertarian candidate for governor. 100% of my energy and focus will be on this race, and I intend to lead the Libertarian Party in New Jersey to heights never achieved. Fellow libertarians, it is time I became your full-time candidate. I have the qualities that would best suited to capture this opportunity. Number 1, my personal philosophy is a complete fit with the libertarian ideals. This is wholeheartedly demonstrated with content posted on my website, deep individual conversations I've had with many of you within this room, and in the recent 3-hour libertarian gubernatorial debate held last Saturday. I will communicate a platform that not only speaks for the party, but with a message that resonates across the millions of voters in New Jersey that are libertarians at heart, but just don't know it yet. A compelling candidate, credible candidate is required. Number 2, the stakes for this election are higher than they ever have been. The Libertarian Party needs the highest level of commitment from their candidate. I will devote my full energy into this campaign, taking leave from my career to push the libertarian ideals throughout the state of New Jersey, full-time. The Libertarian Party needs someone who can put 100% effort towards a professional run. Critically, the ability to achieve major fundraising goals and be invited on the same debate stage with the Democrats and Republicans will only be possible with a full-time candidate. And finally, the governorship is the highest executive office in New Jersey. We need a candidate that has executive experience at a commensurate high level. This will be a tough journey. We need to pick a candidate that has been exposed to a variety of challenges in several world-class organizations and has demonstrated success. The time for me to become your full-time candidate will focus on the right issues, what I call the 3 L's. Number 1, lessen burden of taxation. This will entail a reduction of the state budget of 20% by 2020, with 2% per annum decline in perpetuity starting in 2021. Elimination of the sales and corporate tax, and major property tax reform. You will have an option, but we will get rid of annual property taxes from New Jersey for good. Number 2, lower intrusion of government into our personal lives. Our firearms laws are amongst the most restrictive in the country. The third thing is legalization of marijuana, which I think all of us here are throughout. Finally, I make the following pledges. I pledge to promote the Libertarian brand first. I pledge to work directly with the many candidates that are here in the room today to help them with their candidacy. I pledge to hit 500 municipalities within New Jersey and to raise at least $400,000 to get on the debate stage. It is time, fellow libertarians, to have a proven leader and full-time candidate to make our dreams of liberty and prosperity a reality for New Jersey. Our party needs to vote for someone who will commit full-time to the campaign that libertarians deserve, and we need a candidate with deep executive experience for the highest New Jersey executive office. Let's make the first step towards regaining liberty and prosperity together.
My name is Jason McKenna. I'm new to the party. I came in last year. So let me give you a quick synopsis of who I am and where I'm from. I was born in Michigan in 1972, which is the birth date of the Libertarian Party. My father ran for Congress in 1976 under the Libertarian ticket, and it was 1976, and he was a Libertarian, so you all know how that went. I've spent my entire life as a Libertarian, small L, only becoming big L after moving to New Jersey and realizing, whoa, New Jersey has to move in a different direction. I planted roots here. I believe in the state. I believe in the people in this state. That being said, I think if I were to get the nomination, I would work as hard as humanly possible to try and teach people that we need to, there is a third way. It's not left. It's not right. It's what you want. You do not need to have the government in your way. You do not need to have the government in your face. Ever. Its only job is to protect life, liberty, property. The end. And I would work in every possible way to make that happen. If I were to become governor, I would use the tools of the executive to stand in the way of the federal interfering with the state. I would stand in the way of the local interfering with the people. I would use every possible tool I could have at my disposal to eliminate as many executive positions as possible, to reduce the budget. I mean, many people don't understand there's a difference between law and regulation. And one of the biggest problems that New Jersey has, I think, is over-regulation. One of the things I think the whole nation has is over-regulation. So if we can reduce that regulation, we reduce cost, we reduce interference with the people, and we all get to make our own choices and live our own lives as we see fit. It shouldn't matter. Your personal choices and how you live your life should not be mandated by anyone, so long as you're not hurting anybody else or taking away their personal rights. And I have lived my entire life trying to live by that principle. I've tried to avoid government in every branch of my life. I was a nomad for decades. I work as a stagehand. I've traveled the entire country. I've worked with blue-collar people all over this nation. They all say the same thing. They just don't know how to get there. And I think that we, as libertarians, can help show them the way. That's the best I can do for now, so thank you.
Thank you very much, Jason. Next, we'll hear from James Marcatulio.
Well, 4-minute lightning round won't be needing this. I've been a public service since 2007, started as a water treatment plant operator for Brick County, New Jersey, currently corrections officer for the county of Ocean County, and I've been a fly on the wall for the past 10 years of government, and I've seen exactly how the top wastes your money through nepotism and just wasteful spending. Now, for the last 8 years, we've had a governor that's divided the working class by public worker and private worker. How's that worked out for us? We're all just as broke as the other guy, so apparently that's not working. Our property taxes are only going up. So I could go on and on and on about policy, but one of the problems is I feel with government is they dictate too much to us what they want, and they don't listen too much what you guys want. So let's do some questions and answers. Anybody? You, sir.
You said that one of the problems is nepotism. How would you address that as governor?
Well, first off, we'd find out who's got the same last names as the guy running the company or the public service or the department, find out exactly what their qualifications were, find out why they're more qualified than the last guy, and if they're not, they get fired and the person put in that position is prosecuted for corruption. You, sir.
What would you do for the unfunded pension system that we are under contract to adhere to?
Well, first of all, I'd stop using it as a piggy bank. Second, I'd probably pay it, unlike the governor has, even though the public worker has been paying more towards their fair share, yet he refuses to put money into it. And I'd also cut back on the double dipping, which is also prevalent at the top, not so much as the guy digging the ditch, making sure the water's flowing. So that's probably the best we can do for right now. You, sir.
Would you cancel debt, government debt, bonds?
Well, that's a tricky situation because that affects the entire economy. If we do that without crashing our economy, we would definitely explore that. If it looks like that would form breadlines, probably not the most responsible thing to do. You, sir.
What are you going to do to bring business back to New Jersey?
Well, first we'd probably cut the unfair benefits that corporations get, close the loopholes, and bring down the regulations that large business has influenced our politicians to put on small business to make small business effective and more profitable. You, sir.
How can you communicate liberty to the public any differently than the other candidates?
Well, basically through large social media presence. Don't know how much effective will be with the mainstream media because they're going to ignore us at every possible turn. But if we can make a big enough social media impact, which of course is now eclipsing your mainstream media, the mainstream media have no choice but to finally recognize us. You, sir.
What's your position on public schools and how would you change the way public schools are funded?
That would probably take up more than the time I have, but once again, we have to re-examine the role of the people up top, like the administrators, such as the Board of Education, and the superintendents. So a lot of superintendents, they make over $100,000 a year, but what exactly can they do? Got more time? Anybody else? You, sir.
Would you pursue the prosecution of current government officials for corruption charges?
Absolutely. If you are in a position of public trust, you betray that trust, that's probably the worst offense you can commit against the American people. Going once, going twice. How much time I have left?
5 seconds.
Taxation is theft, and your body, your choice.
All right, thank you, James. And now we're going to hear from Carice.
Good morning.
Morning.
You guys hear me?
Morning.
All right. Good morning. My name is Carice Laguerre, and it is a great pleasure to be here with you today as we embark on the year that the Libertarian Party finally puts an end to bipartisan elections in New Jersey. In all things, we know that timing is everything. This is our year. As the bipartisan politicians will fight through the discourse created by their historical mismanagement of government, we will carve a path to, I'm a little nervous. We will carve a path to revival. Historically, revolutions occur when there is discourse and a courageous leader who is willing to empower the people, downtrodden, disillusioned, and disgusted by the established system of lies and abuse, political tensions rising like the high tide, washing out the belief that bipartisan politics have their best interest in mind. The state is full of minds ready to embrace the libertarian ideas and take charge of their own lives with less government intrusion. This movement is not one that can be forced upon them. It must be their own idea. Empowered by the ideal of volunteerism based on a citizen-led government, I am certain that we can reduce government naturally by legislative inclusion. The people, ordinary, hardworking people, involved in every aspect of decision-making and laws, helping to write and reform laws that will assist in the legalization of marijuana, restoring Second Amendment rights, reducing taxation, and improving education. We should have always had a government that required our input. Our tax contributions are our hard-earned cost of admission into government. Therefore, we must break down the establishment. Collectively, we must lead if we don't want to be misled. My campaign is not here to make a bunch of promises of things that I will do for you. Instead, I'd rather empower you. That way we can work together to get this state on the right path. My appeal, my campaign's appeal, is that this is real for me. New Jersey, as a lifelong resident, this state has always been the backdrop of my dreams and the unrequited love of my reality. Our failing economic growth, suffocating debt, and the outstanding high cost of living is chipping away at my family, as well as many other working class families here in New Jersey. The timing is right for us, but we need the right motivations to encourage others to vote for liberty. And while a full-time campaign is noble and ideal, what would garner more respect and relatability from thousands of people who are out there working overtime or multiple jobs in order to make ends meet than a candidate who is also working hard to provide for their own family as well as working hard to improve the state? I'm not in this race because I want to be. I'm in this race because I have to be. We, and when I say the term we, it is an all-inclusive term that stands for the fed up, the underrepresented, the minorities, the working class, the immigrants, the oppressed, the libertarians. We are never going to get the respect we deserve unless one of us stands up for all of us. Now is the time that I encourage you to make a decision that ends complacency as a third party in what is normally a two-party race and begin making strategic movements. Because if we want to see big change, that's going to require a really big move. Thank you.
Can we get a big round of applause for all our candidates? I've never had such an outstanding qualified field of candidates, and I just want to say thank you on behalf of the party to everyone who's running. You're all qualified as far as I'm concerned to be our nominees. So, with that being said, the time has currently 10:54. I know we would all love to debate and discuss the merits of each individual candidate ad nauseum. However, we are already behind schedule. So I would like to ask for someone to make a motion to bring us to a vote.
I make the motion to bring us to a vote.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. I believe we can proceed with the voting for governor. So you should have a ballot that says gubernatorial candidate. On that ballot, please write your selection for governor. Either Peter Lorman, Ryan Manfield, Jason McKenna, James Marcotulio, or Carissa Blair, or none of the above. All right, when you've completed writing your selection, please raise it in the air, and someone will be around to collect it.
This is going to get several rounds.
Okay, so just to remind everyone how this works, is we're going to count up the votes.
All right, we are about to do some nominee interviews in the side
If
room.
no one gets the majority of the ballots on the first round, we're going to eliminate the least successful candidate, lowest percentage, and anyone who's under 5%. And then we will proceed to another round of voting, and we'll continue that process until somebody has a majority of the votes.
Sounds good.
So,
Cool. Let's step aside for a quick.
are there any ballots out there that have not been collected? This is the last call for ballots for governor.
All right, we're going to be interviewing this gentleman in just a moment. Who's next?
Anybody want to represent it? Watch while we're down.
Let's go. You want to teach you?
Okay, this is the last call.
Okay, so I'm here with one of the candidates. We're going to go do an interview.
Okay, so we're now going to begin the counting of the first round of ballots. Now, we're already behind schedule.
Okay.
I do want to keep things moving.
You can walk ahead so we can get the documentary feel. Okay.
Over here?
Hello. Okay, perfect. All right. So. All right. Welcome to Nick Tucci live at the Libertarian Convention for the state of New Jersey, and I'm here today with one of our gubernatorial candidates.
Carisse Laguerre.
And Carisse, what was your first motivation to decide to run for governor of the state of New Jersey as a libertarian?
My first motivation is the fact that I myself fulfilling a future here, raising my children here in this state that I love so much. It's becoming harder and harder as they raise taxes continuously. I think it's really the time for us to invoke our liberty. The Libertarian Party was a no-brainer for me. It had to happen.
Testing 1, 2, testing. So, how long have you been a libertarian?
I've always been a libertarian in ideal. I think I just joined the party recently, earlier this year.
All right, so we're going to get a little bit better audio here. Of course, Facebook Live, you're just going to have to deal with what we get for the post-production purposes. We are going to have some very good audio here. Facebook Live, I don't know what to make of it just yet. Maybe it's more than you need to see. I mean, obviously, I'm over here. I'm setting up the microphone. We're rushing around. We're trying to get another battery in that camera. All types of stuff's going on. Right now, you're sitting in a chair. This is chair eye view of the action here at the New Jersey Libertarian debate. And just some questions. And am I pronouncing this correct? Carice?
Carice.
Carice. So, questions. Can we get the questions, please?
Sure.
They're in my pocket. They're in one of these pockets. The questions are in one of my, many pockets.
This is live, 100%
This is live. We're live. We're live. We're doing it live. It was under the chair. It was under the chair. All right, so what are your thoughts on the Penn East pipeline in the Pinelands?
I don't like the fact that it's going through people's personal properties. I really feel like that is extremely invasive. It's not necessary. While I see how it could help with the movement of natural gas, I really don't feel like it's necessary. It's very invasive. It's very truly invasive. I am 100% in opposition.
Now, a friend of mine, Paul Canditti, he actually thinks that the pipeline is pretty non-invasive, but the man does happen to work for the gas company. So I've heard back and forth, and honestly, I don't have a clear answer of it. I wish that the material on what exactly the pipeline was and how it was going to be performed would be a little bit more, cut and dry, and we saw what it looked like. But obviously, I don't think anyone's in favor of destroying the Pinelands.
No, not at all. Not at all. We need to reserve as much natural land as we can. We have less and less of that, especially here in New Jersey. We're so densely populated that a lot of our land that we have already has house on top of house on it. We don't need any more destruction of natural land.
Absolutely. Now, Carice, what is your familiarity with South Jersey?
I have some slight familiarity with South Jersey. I don't know how far south you're talking. I've never been to Wildwood. Never, ever, ever.
Have you ever heard of Gloucester County?
Yes. yes. I've been there, I think, only once. But I do plan on visiting, especially if I get the nomination. I will be there. I will be all over New Jersey, but I will be especially in the South, because the South, they don't get a lot of representation. It's really central in North Jersey, and not even all of North Jersey. Sussex County, they get a lot of, they get ignored just the same.
Absolutely. Now, I'm from Gloucester County, and south of there, Salem County, as well as Cumberland County, a lot of room for growing. Probably the reason that this is called the Garden State, or what used to be called the Garden State. I mean, the Garden State is alive and well in South Jersey, and there are many possible opportunities for creating profit and eliminating debt with some of the rateable crops that are currently illegal in the state of New Jersey. What is your take? You did mention briefly on stage, but what is your take on the legalization of marijuana?
100%. It needs to be legalized. It's something that we can very easily create so many resolutions for problems. State revenue, we can eliminate the illegal drug trade, kind of get people off of the streets. And the people who do still wish to be involved in, marijuana selling, they can do so legally. Now we have entrepreneurship, opportunities for entrepreneurship where you can open up your own business. You can open a storefront. That helps to create additional revenue. And that also takes people off the streets, and we can get people out of our prison system for these crimes that are essentially victimless.
Absolutely. Thank you. What would be your policy number one if you were to take office?
First order of business, day one, we are slashing things in the budget. We need to eliminate as much as possible. That way we can take back as much money as we need to for the pension funding and also to assist in tax reduction.
Now, I love tax reduction. I also love driving on paved roads. What is your solution?
The Transportation Trust Fund, we've got to delve into that as well. I feel like we are mismanaging the money. We have a significant amount of money in our budget that has been allocated in various ways and misappropriated. Like our Governor Chris Christie, he spent almost $1 million at one point just in legislative fees using public dollars. If we could recoup that money, put that back into the Transportation Trust Fund and regain transparency, that's ideal.
Absolutely. Now, we've got what I would call it.
We're about to announce the results.
Can you send something else in, or do you want to? We are about to announce the results.
I have to go.
Proud to support any of you as our nominee, and I would like to remind you that we still have a election for lieutenant governor coming up, and I hope that all of our outstanding candidates for governor who didn't make it will consider running for lieutenant governor. Yes.
Can I move to suspend the rules for a 5-minute recess to convene with all the possible lieutenant governors candidates? 5 minutes.
We're behind schedule as it is. Can you do it in 2 minutes?
I think because they will be running as a ticket rather than separately, it's important that he be comfortable with the lieutenant governor candidate, that they're both on the same page. So he really does need to talk to them.
Okay, so I would like to suspend the voting for lieutenant governor for, I'm going to say 3 minutes, to give Pete an opportunity to meet with anyone.
Should we nominate him first?
Well, I'm not sure that it matters. I mean, I think they need to be interested in running.
Anybody's interested in running for lieutenant governor? Ryan, I'd like to speak to you too as well. Mr. Vice Chair, if you can join us too as well for some advice as well. Please, you can meet in the back room. Anybody interested?
Okay, backroom politics going on now. Hold on for voting for lieutenant governor for 3 minutes.
Okay.
Larry?
Good.
How are you? Nick Tucci. Good to see you.
And as we're waiting, I want to prepare us for the next order of business, which is the regional caucus.
I'm down there. Hey, Larry, welcome.
So we're already behind schedule. It's currently 11:06, which means we're cutting into our time for other business. So what's going to happen is...
Can you ask you not to record this as a confidential conversation?
Oh, no?
Just this way.
No, I think not. I think he's decided not to pursue it.
There's simply no way for me to get in there and turn off my microphone.
Chair, you're going to elect your regional rep, and you're going to nominate any local candidates that are strictly within your region, township committee, mayor, state assembly, state senate, that's strictly within your district. So we're already behind schedule, so that's going to have to go fast as soon as we conclude the voting for lieutenant governor. And while we're waiting, I'd like to give you a quick update on our progress in the realm of social media. As has been discussed, we're having great progress online in this social media. And just like we've doubled our membership and our registered voters, we've also doubled our reach on social media. And the NJLP Facebook page is regularly reaching over 100,000 New Jerseyans every week. So that's fantastic. And thank you very much to everyone who's been sharing our posts, sharing our content. Really appreciate it. And I don't know if you've ever been really bored and you've looked at the social media presence of Republicans or Democrats in the state. There's nothing going on. There's no enthusiasm. There's no excitement. There's no interest. But our social media is absolutely on fire. It's really incredible how much we've grown and how many people we're reaching. I mean, I'm looking around. I don't see any members of the mainstream media here today. I might be wrong. But when you go online and people get to actually vote for themselves what they're interested in, the Libertarian Party is dominating. So I think that's very exciting. I think that's a great leading indicator of where the sentiments of the people of New Jersey lie. So at this time, That's been 3 minutes by my watch. So can someone please enter the smoke-filled room and bring forth Lieutenant Governor candidates? Dan.
As we wait, the Central Jersey Chair is willing to give a rapid-fire report as we wait for the candidates to come out.
Fantastic.
Well, I would be after the, I would say wait for that until after the regional meeting.
Cool.
That's, he has an opportunity to do that.
Yeah, we're just running out of time. I'd like to kill 2 birds.
So I would open the nominations.
I don't think we're ready yet.
Open them anyway.
Okay. It's been 3 minutes. We are now opening the nominations for Lieutenant Governor of the state of New Jersey. Anyone like to make a nomination? Audio.
Carice, please.
Yeah. Carice, do you accept? All right, fantastic. Carice has been nominated. Other nominations for Lieutenant Governor? Dan.
I'd like to nominate James.
James, you accept?
Yes.
Okay, James accepts.
Nominate Ken Kaplan.
Ken, do you
I
accept?
decline.
Ken declines. But thank you to Ken for being our previous gubernatorial candidate in 2012. Other nominations?
I'd like to nominate Jason.
Jason, do you accept?
I do.
Okay. Other nominations for Lieutenant Governor in the back? Yes, ma'am.
Ryan Manuel?
Ryan, do you accept?
No.
Ryan declines. Other nominations for Lieutenant Governor?
Dan Kraus.
Dan, do you accept?
I decline.
Dan declines. So
I'm
far we
already
have
running for the assembly.
Carice, James, and Jason so far nominated. Do I hear other nominations for Lieutenant Governor? Last call for nominations. Going once, going twice. Okay. The candidates are Carice DeGuerre, James Marcatulio, and Jason McKenna. And of course, none of the above. We've already heard from all these candidates, and since they're behind schedule, I don't think we need to hear from them again unless somebody objects.
This is unspecified B.
We're going to use unspecified B ballot.
Yes.
That's what we're using.
We're going to use unspecified B for the ballot to vote for Lieutenant Governor.
Motion to suspend the rules for 10 seconds to give my endorsement.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor of suspending the rules to allocate 10 seconds for Pete to make a brief statement? Please raise your blue card and vote aye. Okay, thank you. Any opposed, please raise your blue card and vote nay. Okay, that passes unanimously. Pete, you have 10 seconds to make a brief statement.
I'm endorsing Clarice. We spoke, we're in agreement on a lot of things. I endorse her, I ask you to vote for her. Help us unify this ticket. Thank you.
Okay, we will now proceed with the voting. You are using the ballot that says unspecified B, and you are voting for either Jason McKenna, James Marcatulio, Teresa Blair, or none of the above. When you've written your selection, please hold it up in the air, and we will be around to collect it. Spelling does not count. You're like public school in that regard.
Maybe public schools next.
I went to public school, so that explains a lot.
Yeah,
So we are burning daylight. I want to try to make sure we get out of here on time for lunch, which means we're cutting into the regional caucuses right now. But this is the same procedure. So we're going to look for a majority of the votes. If a majority is not attained on the first ballot, we will eliminate the lowest vote gathering candidate and anyone under 5%, and we'll continue doing runoffs until someone gets the majority of the votes. So please make sure that your ballot is collected so that we can count. We want to make sure everyone's votes count. Last call for ballots for Lieutenant Governor of New Jersey. So the plan for the rest of the day as we wait the results, after we have lunch, we have an outstanding lineup of speakers to address you. Most of you probably already are familiar with them. One of them is standing in the back of the room, Mr. Larry Sharp. Larry is my colleague on the National Committee. Larry was the runner-up for Vice President at the Orlando Convention and lost by a very slim margin. We're very happy to have Larry here with us today. Also attending is Julie Borowski. Most of you probably know Julie. She's a YouTube superstar. You've probably seen her there. You might have seen her speak at other libertarian events across the country. We're very excited to have her. Also scheduled to speak is Bob Bowden. Bob is fantastic. I don't know if you've seen the movie The Cartel, the documentary about the New Jersey public school system. Bob helped create that. Bob was a leader in the school choice movement. He was kind enough to invite me to speak at School Choice Day last year, and I believe was it Kevin represented us there this year. That's a tremendous effort, and he's a real leader. He's a documentary filmmaker. We're very happy to have him here. And then we're also going to have Michael Germain, who's going to speak to us about libertarians in law enforcement and libertarian issues in law enforcement. So we have some really great speakers, and we have a couple surprises coming up.
Where can we see Dinosaur Islands?
Thank you, Ken. So if anyone is interested, people accuse libertarians of not caring about charity. My band is having a charity fundraising event for Elijah's Promise Soup Kitchen right here in New Brunswick. March 22nd at the Court Tavern. We're having 4 or 5 local bands. We're donating all of our proceeds to the Soup Kitchen. So please feel free to come out and support a good cause. I can't guarantee good music. You might have to just tolerate the music, but I can guarantee it's for a good cause. Okay, I have the results for Lieutenant Governor. None of the above has 1 vote. Jason has 1 vote. James has 1 vote. Carice has 48 votes. So congratulations. What's going to happen now may be a little bit confusing to some of you who haven't been to one of our conventions before, and maybe some of you who have. But what's going to happen is we're going to break out by region. These are regional caucuses. Each one of you is in a region, north, central, or south. I'm going to suggest north meets back there, central in the middle, and south over here. Your business is to elect a regional chair. You already have one. That person should assume control of this process. You need to elect a regional representative for the board, and you need to nominate your local candidates and then report back to us with your findings. You have 13 minutes to do this, okay? So, real quick, point of order, Dan.
This is a general point of information as we're about to approve our nominated candidates. After the candidates are approved, we'll be offering them the opportunity to be interviewed by our video staff. So please, once you have your slate together, give the list to either myself or Tim, and we will make sure that process goes as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, north in the back, central in the middle, south over here. Please get with your regional chair. They're going to lead you through the process. That's a good question.
Central Jersey, your first
But my sense is it may apply only but I'm saying you can have a meeting tomorrow. That's my understanding.
Central New Jersey, the center of the room.
Center's right here. Central Jersey. All right. Chair. Right now I am chair. We have already chair.
I nominate you.
Thank you. I accept. Any other nominations? Okay. All in favor of Dan Heitkamp, say aye. Aye. All in favor of Dean Nutt, say aye. All in favor of none of the above, say aye. All right. Thank you very much. Our representative to the state board is currently Joe Baratelli. How you doing? Nomination. Any other nominations to the state board? Absolutely not. That's true.
Tom, over here. Nominate Tom.
Nomination, Joe nomination for Tom. Y'all want to say anything about it?
Brought a t-shirt.
Do, but we need to
I ran a
I don't think we have I don't have like hard to take their
I believe I can.
All right, let's do this with my hand. All in favor of Joe, please raise your hand. Yes, you can. All in favor of Tom, please raise your hand.
But to expedite this.
I count 12 to 9 in favor of Joe. Anyone contest that? We need a second vote. Anyone voting for none of the above? All right, Joe, congratulations. You're going to continue the state. All right, so for our regional candidates, we're going to do this in 2 rounds. Ryan headed up our nomination committee. We vetted 7 candidates on the list that we vetted, and we can nominate them. And then if anybody else would like to run for any other offices, indicate those at that time. Right after we do the vetted candidates. Yes, absolutely. Yes, Daniel Heitkamp for Hardin County Freeholder, Andrew Pearson for Wilmington for the 6th Legislative District State Senate, Brendan Maroney for Brendan Murray. Mayor Ryan General Assembly for Monmouth County Freeholder. Evelyn Brownstein will be running 13th Legislative District State Senate. Good to meet you. Hisham Ahmed is looking to run for, I can't say that, Town Council. This is where things get fun. Please don't, I'm standing on it. Valerio Bruschianelli for Westfield Town Council, and Tom, for the life of me, I cannot say your last name. Chesky? Sure. For Berkeley Heights Town Council. Is there any discussion about these candidates?
Next order of business, I think.
16th district, I don't think that's the president. He was responsible for his kids today. I personally vetted him. If you want to see any of his plans for like month 70, yes, he does. Absolutely. State Senate. Glenn withdrew his candidacy. Okay, so we'll get back into the plan for our next regional meeting. We can do a vote on that and then send that over to the state. Yes? Right. We'll do this and then we'll look for additional candidates. So for this slate of Daniel Haykamp, Andrew Pearson, Brandon Maroney, Evelyn Brown, Stephen Champanet, Valerio Buscanelli, and Tom Michurski. Sure. All in favor, please raise your hand. Any opposed, please raise your hand now. All right, congratulations to our candidates. At this point, we'll take nominations from the floor. State Senate. 20 seconds for the General Assembly. Anybody else looking to run for General Assembly in the 22nd district? It is a vote for 2.
I nominate Amanda. Okay. If some fill it out the column. It is filled out the column. I think she's like 21. Yes.
You have to be in different percentage, Senate is 1 seat. General Assembly is 2.
Can we approve her for whichever she is actually in?
I know where. Yeah, I know for a fact that's got.
Sure.
Yeah.
General Assembly? General Assembly.
99. Right. Well, that's the important part. That's the important part.
There's a situation of looking at where that person
yeah, but that's the point from running.
Point of information, there is time between this convention and the deadline for signatures. I guess we'll do this if we decide
Okay, so we are here at the Rucker Hotel and Conference Center in beautiful New Brunswick, New Jersey. We are going to be conducting some more Libertarian Convention live interviews here for the Libertarian Convention for the state of New Jersey.
Anyway, I know we had it good. I don't know where to get it.
I am more than happy to candidate websites or what you do. I've done that for many years. I haven't really, but I just really. Sorry.
Let's talk. I like that. Cool. Any other nominations from the floor? Can we do this in one sweep for Brian Mandel, Amanda Iris, and Mike Rowe, all for General Assembly in their respective districts?
I think we're done.
Second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, Ryan, Amanda, and Mike. Next motion is to have Tom run for General Assembly, should he decide not to run Berkeley Heights. Any discussion?
I know I want to be involved with Anthony and Dan also, but I have no problem.
So I was in the back room, so I didn't hear, but the nomination for governor has been announced. It is Pete Roman, and Carice will be his lieutenant, who we just spoke to a little while ago. Very excited about getting Pete Roman in this chair as quickly as possible.
Catalyst.
Overall,
get buzzing too.
Overall.
Okay, guys, we need to wrap this up. Okay.
Any further discussion? Those in favor of allowing Tom to later, please raise your hand. Any opposed? Wonderful, Tom. You should have an additional free time. Chair can't make motions, but I would like to give a recommendation that any additional candidates that step forward now and if you compete as filing deadline to be approved by the regional board. We have a motion.
We would like, these are
Second?
but we
All in
would like
favor?
to have someone coordinate
Any opposed?
for every
Beautiful. Thank you
Okay,
very
we
much.
need to start wrapping up these caucuses. Let's do 2 more minutes, and then we'll come back to
We
it.
have Dan and Sarah. We have one more order of business. We need to finalize our bylaws. Okay, the only rest of the tab is the nomination of candidates. These bylaws that we use are the bylaws saying that party does not endorse candidates unless they have a nomination of the state party and one of the libertarian title. And a non-partisan candidate the party must have a writing agreement to the non-directional principle. Change was to make it so that the party must nominate, must endorse anyone nominated by the state and the central region. And an additional clause was added that any race where there is not a libertarian party nominated by the state, the central party may endorse another candidate.
Last year,
So there's currently that candidates nominated by the state. That is nominated here or later by the state majority running under the tag.
Yeah, right by the
We always kick it down the line. We can kick it down the line. This has been kicked down the line since December.
Okay, please wrap up your regional caucuses so that we can take our seats and finish our business for lunch. Okay, great.
When the police call me, suddenly lawyers are
Okay, time has expired for regional reports. Please take your seats so that we can finish before lunch.
I move that we approve the first clause, but not the second, tabling the second clause.
The first clause will read that the Central Jersey Party shall endorse candidates that have been nominated by the state board by the Central Jersey under the Libertarian Party. Yes, and we're going to table the second clause. Whether or not we can. So the second clause will be postponed until future meeting.
Share to come up and just give a brief rundown.
We have a second clause.
Well, whatever it is, I'll figure it out. I always like learning. I never, take on anything I can't handle. I'm sure it will be fine. If you want to just email me, whatever. I'm at like a political convention right now, so I can't take a look this minute. But I can take a look, around, I don't know, 4 o'clock. And just, send me whatever. If I feel like I, can't handle it, I'll let you know. But I'm sure. Sure. Yeah, I'm sure it's fine. And for me, I like to get different experiences, and I'm very thorough, so yeah, I'm sure. Okay, sounds good. And if it's a little bit, it might be just a little bit later than that, I'll try to do it.
So as North wraps up, here's what needs to happen next. The chair of each region needs to, at the appropriate time, address the body from the podium, announce the results of their caucus, including the election of their regional